listening to Champion Cinema with Chris and Chris.
Let's do some Belgian champions.
Champion.
Hello, folks. Welcome to Champion Cinema. I'm Chris with a Chad to say I'm a Giga Chad this week.
Oh, nice. And I'm Chris with a Cara. Okay, because those thighs.
Damn right. Yes. This week, Van Damme month continues with Double Impact and Nowhere to Run.
Yes.
Two very different films, when you think about it.
Yeah, definitely. Van Damme he's trying to show off his acting range in both movies.
But yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean,
Somewhere,
he's playing two characters, obviously, in Double Impact. Nowhere to Run's way more of a dramatical shift for him, I would say. Yeah. Nothing much to get to beforehand, is there?
Any Van Damme news? That's what we should have done.
Not really. No, not really.
I guess it's quiet on the whole Van Damme front.
Although I did see that Alan Scarfe, who plays Griffith in Double Impact, died in April. Sadly.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and I forgot that he's in Lethal Weapon 3 as well.
Is he?
He's the other internal affairs cop that's with Rene Russo.
It's been a while. I always watch Lethal Weapon 1 and 2 and then lose steam for 3 and was like, nah.
Yeah.
I should just watch 3 a bit more, to be fair.
It's weird because I always think that as well until I watch them all. Like when we reviewed them on the show, I was like, you know what, 3's fine.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, whenever I watch it, I forget, like, it's fine. Yeah. It brings the gang back together and stuff.
It's a solid series that I think just like people, because most people have seen the first 2 the most, so they just like think 3 and 4 mustn't be that good. Then they just put the sequel tag on. It's a sequel, so it's probably a bit shit, but they're all really fun. I just hope at this point now they don't end up doing 5, even though apparently it's still happening sometimes. So.
I would be worried.
Well, the last news was that Gibson was going to direct it himself. So. Who knows? Anyway, we're not here to talk about Melanie Gibson. We're here to talk about Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I was going to make a crack about like they're doing a Street Fighter sort of 6 movie or something to coincide with the new Street Fighter game. Yeah. But then just have like Van Damme as like an old guy or something. But I don't know if I want to say that.
No.
They would make him all old and miserable and useless.
Yeah, it's true, yeah. Just open a guy with a gun in his mouth or something. Classic, let's bring back an old character routine.
Champion Cinema.
So Double Impact runs for 1 hour and 50 minutes, was released in 1991, directed by Sheldon Lettich again, and Vic Armstrong, but I'll get to that in a minute. Stars Jean-Claude Van Damme as Chad and Alex, Jeffrey Lewis as Frank, Alan Scarfe as Griffith, Philip Chan as Zhang, Alona Shaw as Danielle, Karina Everson as Cara, and the almighty Bolo Young as Moon. I always forget his name is Moon until I ever see the credits.
Cool name.
Yeah. What's it about, though?
Well, double the Van Damme, double the fun. In this movie, Jean-Claude Van Damme plays Alex and Chad, twin brothers separated at birth in a classic tale of the Parent Trap-esque shenanigans. Chad grows up to be a martial arts expert in Los Angeles, while Alex becomes a petty crook in Hong Kong. When they reunite 25 years later, it's not just about brotherly love, but it's also about kicking some serious ass.
Kicking double the ass.
Both cheeks.
It's one of my favourite hype lines in a trailer. I can't remember exactly what it's like. Double the excitement, double the action, double the Van damage. It's like the best fucking trailer voice ever. Originally this was in development at Canon as the Corsican brothers based on the book. But it was cancelled, of course, because this was the early 90s and Canon was on its last legs and running out of money. Yeah. And then Sheldon Lettich wasn't paid for his work on Delta Force 2. He wrote like a rewrite of the script because for the same reason, they had no money. He sued Canon, and then Canon were like, all right, here's the deal. We'll give you the Corsican Brothers script in exchange for dropping the lawsuit. So he did. So they got the script, and meanwhile, Van Damme's arranging a deal with a producer to get the film into production. So it all came together very quick once they got the script. But the thing is, I watched like pretty much everything on the Blu-ray, the 88 Films Blu-ray, which I'll talk about later. It's a fucking awesome release. Vic Armstrong, the classic stuntman, he was like Harrison Ford stunt double for years and shit like that. Yeah. He works as the stunt coordinator on this. He actually directed most of the movie. Like he should have credit, but because of it was something like both him and Sheldon Lettich were both in the Directors Guild, and like the rule is, if you're working on the same movie, you can't replace another Directors Guild director or something like that. God. So like the producer said, we want you to take over as director because we don't think, I think they just weren't, there was like one scene in particular, I think when like boats like arrive on the beach And he said, like, he did just like, obviously, Vic Armstrong had set all that up, being the stunt coordinator, and they said, like, he just didn't get the shots that, like, they needed, basically.
Yeah, it's quite a big step up, isn't it, in terms of, like,
from
logistics
Lionheart.
and that.
Yeah. So then he said, the producer basically said to him, would you take over? I can't credit you, but I will give you a film to direct once we're done, which he did. He gave him that Dolph Lundgren movie, Joshua Tree, like straight afterwards as well.
Oh, that's cool,
Yeah. But the thing is, Sheldon Lettich doesn't mention that at all in his interview, and I'm like, that's weird.
Yeah. He's like trying to change history a little bit, maybe.
Well, the way he puts it, like he does say that like there was 3 units shooting on this film, not just 2. So it was like him, Vic Armstrong, and second unit, he says, and then Vic Armstrong's brother Andy was on the 3rd unit, and Andy plays Van Damme's dad in the film as well. So he's like double duty on the movie.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying one's telling the truth and one isn't. I think basically what it seems to me like the way it was, because the producers seem to have a problem with like how Sheldon Lettich was shooting the bigger action scenes. So it honestly seems like Vic Armstrong just directed the movie like you would do in Hong Kong. Like he just purely directed all the big action set pieces. That's what it seems like to me.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's like something that really stands this movie apart. Like all the the Hong Kong stuff, really, and it's an interesting film for that. Like the location and all the guys that would have had to hire, I guess. The Hong Kong guys.
And it's
and
also
stuff.
like there's a lot of people returned from Bloodsport as well. Like besides Bolo, you got Philip Chan.
Yeah, it's cool to see Philip Chan and stuff. Yeah.
You got John Chung, who's like the guy with he's in like, I've got a tiny role on Bloodsport, but he's the guy with the lovely curly mullet on like Zhang's gang. He was like one of the fight choreographers. And I'm sure the guy who plays the sumo in Bloodsport is the guy Van Damme kicks in the face at the dock, like with the tash, the big guy. I'm sure that's him. I couldn't find him on the credits. So. Yeah, there's some other notable producers on the movie there. I'm always just surprised when I see his name. Michael Douglas was one of the producers of the movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
And Paul Michael Glazer from Starsky Hutch.
I wonder if some of this is like that weird thing where they're like back scratching for back scratching. Almost like, did they have anything to do with the movie? Or was it just name on the credits sort of thing?
No, I don't know. I think just Michael Douglas has this like, because his name just pops up with random things, and every now and then I'm like, is that the Michael Douglas or just another guy? But I think he's just got this quiet background career as a film producer. It's kind of like how Danny DeVito's name is on Pulp Fiction. He's one of the producers. I thought this was quite funny, though, from the Sheldon Lettich interview. The title, Double Impact, comes from literally what Van Damme used to call the double cut when they were editing movies. You know, the bang, and then they show the same kick again.
Yeah.
Van Damme would call it the double impact. And then he was like, why don't we just call it that? And they're like, yeah.
That's smart,
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, because just having a look, did it have any AKAs or anything at the time or working?
I can't remember. It wasn't. I don't think it was shooting under the Corsican brothers at that point. But I can't remember. I think Sheldon Lettich did say what the title was before that, and they didn't like it. It was something quite like. I think it was just quite bland. And then Double Impact sums it up, though, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah, it's great. We're kind of. I know we normally do this at the end, but like, I think the poster and the title just kind of does what it says on the tin almost.
Yeah,
doesn't it, really?
You know exactly what it is from looking at that poster. Yeah,
yeah, just 2 guys, different backgrounds, and double impact. Impactful movie, action movie, switch your brain off sort of action movie.
I mean, I know we don't do things like sequential anymore, but I guess we should start with like the opening, because it's like it's a very brutal and cold. Scene.
Yeah, it's rare when you see like a female getting executed.
Yeah.
In movies, certainly back then as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like the parents getting blown away, and you see that quick shot of like the dead parents.
Yeah, and like basically, it's hard to see exactly what it is. It might just be a hat, but it honestly looks like a brain's just spilling out of a skull.
Yeah, just a cracked melon head sort of thing. Like it's that quick shot of it, and it's like Jesus.
And of course, Bolo just being like cold and terrifying. Which is like, my babies, what will happen to them? You'll never know.
That mad shot when he like stands up behind the glass.
Oh,
you know, like when he gets shot in the eye at first, or shot in the face.
Yeah,
and it's like the glass is like kind of shattered, but there's blood all over it as well.
Yeah,
it's like, God Almighty, what an establishing villain shot.
I love that Bolo's reaction to getting shot is basically just, you cheeky bastard.
Yeah.
He's like not arsed at all.
He's so good.
He is.
Bolo Young's so good as a villain. It's one of them where it should have been like in Bond movies and shit like that left, right and centre.
That's what I always think, especially when I see him in this, because he's like, the pursued henchman of the main bad guy, and I'm like, he would have been perfect in a Bond movie.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I've got nothing against the guy that played Oddjob and stuff, but fucking Bolo Young coming after Bond and crushing him in a bear hug, that's far more intimidating.
Imagine if they'd like brought like in one of the, I guess he would be too old, but if they brought him back in like one of the Daniel Craig ones, like they did a modern Oddjob and it's just Bolo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even just like Bolo's size. It's just the way he does things like very uniquely. Like even notice when he does this movement that he does in Enter the Dragon when he like throws something on the floor, like a piece of rope or something, and he just does it very elegantly. And that odd little eye roll he does in the end fight as well.
Yeah,
I was like, he's awesome.
Yeah, he's great, like facial actor. He like inhabits like an animal or something when he's like, you know, when he has his aggression face and stuff. It's a great face that he pulls.
Also, like as well, they seem to do a nod to that bit in Enter the Dragon where he just catches a henchman that Van Damme just breaks his neck.
It's hazards of the job.
Yeah, I remember you summed it up perfectly once when we were reviewing Enter the Dragon. You said he embodies a dragon. Yeah,
because his face is very much like that. Yeah, it's a very forward-pointing, aggressive face. Yeah.
But back to the opening, though, you just, I know they have to do this, but like when he drops, one of the nanny drops Alex off at a French nursery and they're all singing Frere Jacques. I'm like, okay, we'll get it, it's French.
Because I was gonna, like, even I had to remind myself, like, why do they both have French accents?
They really, I think they get away with that, and I think, don't they say that he brought Chad up in Paris or something?
It's a fucking awful line, let's face it. He says, like, God damn it, I brought you up in France. It's like, firstly, he's from Belgium. That conversation must have happened where they're like, sure, we'll put in the line, you were raised in Belgium. And they're like, no American's going to know what Belgium is. Yeah. And they're like, we'll just say France, fuck it.
Well, I remember originally they wanted, when they got Andy Armstrong to play the dad, they were like, will you do a French accent? And he was like, nah. And they were like, okay, you're English then.
God.
So originally it was just going to be that the dad was French, and I'm like, but you've still done the like French orphanage and stuff, because that still would make sense. You wouldn't just grow up with a French accent just 'cause your dad's French.
I mean, does Hong Kong have French orphanages?
I don't fucking know. It might.
And would you have a French accent? Surely you would just have a Hong Kong accent.
You probably would, yeah.
Surely, like, living in Hong Kong, being surrounded by people that are like Cantonese would just give you an accent that
like,
isn't
French. Did he stay in the orphanage till he was 18 or something?
He only had like contact with that one French nurse.
Yeah.
Sorry, nun.
Yeah, nun, yeah.
But, you know, it's not that type of movie.
No.
You have to just move past that point.
Yeah. But I guess moving on to the two characters, you got Chad. And Van Damme, I mean, it's pretty obvious, but Van Damme said this himself, that Chad is the most like the real Van Damme, and it blatantly is. And I'm positive either they're all his real clothes or he went out and picked them all himself, because you see photos of him at premieres around this time and he looks exactly like Chad.
Just like that. Yeah, what an intro to Chad.
Oh, I know.
Just like the ass.
I mean, straight away he gets the splits in the arse right out the way to please everybody.
It's just like centre frame right there. You can't look anywhere but see his ass. So, but it's good. I like it. Yeah, I think that they set up the brothers really well.
They do.
To be fair. I think, like, if I was going to be a bit harsher on the movie, I would probably say I think a better choice would have been to make, like, Chad not a martial artist, to be honest. Make the Alex the one that's, like, you know, the street rough and ready and stuff. And for whatever reason, Chad's more, like... Because they do it, obviously. He's the, like, softer, more naive. But I think it would have been better maybe if he was, like, the gun expert.
Oh, okay,
You know, like... Jeffrey Lewis Frank, he showed him like how to use guns and look after himself and like the culture of America. And
yeah.
But then like the Alex character, he, you know, no guns in Hong Kong.
Yeah, and he grew up in Hong Kong, you know, so that would make more sense. Arts. Yeah, I get what you mean.
And it just maybe would have differentiated them more. But having said that, I think Van Damme does a really good job in like selling them as two different people.
He definitely does, yeah. It's not like he's putting in like it's not a film for this, but it's not like he's putting in a fucking Oscar-winning performance. But you do believe it's two separate people.
Yeah. You know, like that. Not to get on a Star Wars thing, but from what I've heard of like that Star Wars acolyte, you know, it stars like two main characters that are supposedly twins, played by the same actress, but apparently she just plays it like exactly the same, like both ways, and like the show has to go out of its way to like make you understand that it's like character A or character B on screen, because the way she plays it is just like fucking the same exact emotions. So you know, it's something that could be taken for granted, but like you can see that it's different characters on screen. So yeah.
I mean, I love there's a nice little bit of acting. I was thinking in this scene where he's to go teach the karate class downstairs, but he's still in like he's ballet gear, like he's dancing gear and shit. And that's a little thing like where he's trying to be nice, but he just does this thing with his face. Like, I'm gonna fucking knock this guy out. My favourite Chad moment in the film, and I forgot all about it, but I think it's something me and Jimmy used to fucking piss myself laughing at all the time. Is when Frank and Alex are like checking the guns. And Chad just fucking strolls in, does a fucking fake kick at fucking Frank's head. Goes, and then he just strolls up to the table like a dad and goes, hey. Fucking love it.
Yeah, that's like Van Damme just being chilled and doing Van Damme stuff.
A bit off it, yeah. He'd probably just done a line before the take and stuff. Yeah, it's the fucking dad size. He walks up to the table. It's so fucking funny. Yeah. But as for Alex, I mean, I love his intro where obviously Alex's girlfriend thinks Chad is Alex and just like put the hand down her pants and then just fucking nuts him straight in the face.
Yeah. There's a couple of good nuts in this film from the Alex character.
Alex is like the king of the headbutts in this film, yeah. But yeah, he's got like, he does like things with Alex, like obviously the hair's different, the clothes and the mannerisms and stuff, but like he makes his voice a bit gravelier and deeper as well.
Yeah. He's got like the 5 o'clock shadow or something a little bit and stuff. Yeah.
I love the bit where like he stands up and he just goes, don't even think about it, pal.
Yeah.
And sticks the cigar in his mouth. And my favourite line is when the Danielle character says, I want you to give Chad a big kiss. And he's like, I'll give him a big kick in the ass. Yeah. But yeah, who do you prefer? I mean, Alex obviously is the cooler one. You know, he's the more like streetwise tough guy, but they're both fun characters, I think. Yeah,
I think it's fun to see the like more Van Damme sort of Chad, just being like light and stuff, and the naivety of his character.
Yeah. What do you think of the Chad versus Alex fight? I think it's still really like well done, and apparently they used a real set of twins to double each person from behind as well, so that kind of works well. Like there's not many shots where you can tell it's not Van Damme because they shoot them all from behind really carefully and quickly. But yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I think the photography is like really good when they're doing that. Like when it's like back to back shots and it's like, you know, the back of somebody's head and it's not Van Damme things and it's really well done. I think obviously there's some bits in the film that like you can see the effect.
Oh yeah, when it comes to the
matte,
when it comes to split screen stuff, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but you know, it's a limitation of the time. Unfortunately, it's what they had. I think it's like, you know, we live in an age where we take so many things for granted, filmmaking wise, and like, you know, a split screen thing would have just been difficult to accomplish back then. So you know, there's times you can't see it, but I think when they're like not doing that effect and just doing it all in camera, I think they do a really good job.
Yeah. I wonder if they did like all the coverage in one day, or if it was split over like 2 days, or if Van Damme was just like, you know, in makeup in the morning and then halfway through the day in makeup again. You know what I mean? Like I wonder what the schedule was like.
Because obviously, in terms of his haircut and everything, it's just more slick, right?
Yeah, they just slicked it back with some gel. Yeah, pretty much.
And like probably the 5 o'clock shadow was probably just achieved either filming later in the day or just dusting something onto his face.
Probably just makeup. Yeah. I mean, what do you think about because action-wise, there's more gun action than anything in the movie. It's very Hong Kong John Woo inspired.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, the stuff that like caught my eye was like Alex upside down with the gun and stuff. Yeah, you know, and he like waits for a bad guy, and then the like rolling and shooting with a Beretta and stuff was like, this is like full on Hong Kong action stuff.
Double fist and Beretta action and stuff.
Yeah.
Because like I know obviously Van Damme was a big fan of John Woo. That's why I like wanted to work with them in Hard Target and stuff. But I did see a quote. I don't know if it's like in an interview I've like read it. I couldn't find the actual quote, but it was something like Vic Armstrong met John Woo once. Vic Armstrong apologized to John Woo for ripping him off because the movie Joshua Tree I was talking about, he did with Lundgren, very John Wiwish in the action department, and we said something like, "Oh, Vic, I've been ripping you off." Yes, that must have been a fucking awesome compliment again.
Yeah.
But of course, you do have a lot of. You've got the fight, a small little fight between Chad and Bolo, where Chad gets his fucking head caved in the side of a shipping container. Which,
yeah, I think that's really cool. I think, it's like it fits right for the character. Like, he's a martial artist, okay, but he's not like somebody that's been fighting his life and stuff. And,
yeah.
Like actually defending himself against people in a street fight sort of thing.
Yeah.
And obviously it's Bolo Young as well. So
yeah.
So yeah, he just fucking, and the bit when he's like slamming his head into the container, that's like really well done.
Yeah. I always used to just think, did Van Damme just say, "I'll just fucking go for it"? But it's just a painted bit of form that looks like shit, but it's flawless.
Yeah, looks really good. Yeah, looks brutal.
I love the way Bolo's just not even looking at him while he's doing it as well.
Yeah. I like that they don't kill him though as well. It isn't like, because you think that scene's going to be like, they're going to kill him, but maybe Alex comes in or something. But it's just like, nah, they've just like, Paul Chance offered him a role, a job. He's turned it down, been being a bit of a twat. Sorry, Philip Chan, I should say. And then they just like kick his ass, like as a lesson.
Yeah,
but leave him ultimately.
Just send a message, basically. giving him a concussion.
Yeah, Philip Chan's like, if you get any more of that cognac, sort us out. I don't know, it caught us off guard. I think in my head I was thinking like, what happens in this scene? Do they decide not to kill him? Do they get interrupted or something?
Yeah.
No, they just decide not to kill him.
Yeah. It's just the midpoint ass kicking that you always need in an action movie.
Yeah, totally.
What do you think about the needlessly long paranoid sex fantasy that Alex has?
It's a bit much.
I mean, you watched it with like your whole family, so what did they think of it?
I was like, fucking double impact night. Sat and watched it with tea. Yeah, it just doesn't. I mean, I certainly didn't feel awkward, so that didn't bother us. But I just think it's gratuitous.
It's too long is the problem.
Yeah, it's just too much. I get what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
But I think you could establish that just throughout the movie in like little bits.
Yeah.
You didn't need a scene that was like, he doesn't like Chad. Like that's, I kind of felt like the film was talking down to us at that point.
Yeah.
And when it's like constantly cutting back to like Alex being drunk, it's kind of like they didn't know what they were doing. They were like, here, Van Damme, we're just going to roll the camera, it's just extra footage we need for like the Alex character being angry, and he's like, right, what's going through my head at the minute? Just do whatever you want. I get that feeling like it's kind of aimless.
Yeah,
like he's just reacting and stuff, and yeah. But yeah, anyway, the whole boobs and stuff and that, I just feel it's like,
yeah. Like I get that the scene is there to throw up some conflict between them before the finale and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the grim thing about it as well, originally, I think it was like, I don't know if she was offered it or like it was down to her and that Alana show. Like Tia Carrera was offered the role, or someone wanted her, because they thought, well, it makes sense if Alex is in Hong Kong, he would have a Asian girlfriend.
Yeah.
But apparently at Van Damme's insistence, Alana Shaw was cast. And she knew there was going to be nudity, but she wasn't happy about it. I think she was kind of changing her mind. And from what I read, it sounds like she was pretty much forced into it under the threat of being replaced, which is shitty.
Yeah. It's a sad trend about some of these films with Van Damme. Like you do read things, not like massive, like just comments from the females that are like, I wasn't very happy in this movie.
Yeah.
It's like. I guess it's not just Van Damme. Obviously, I think there was a lot of action movies back then in general, wasn't it? I suppose
just general movies that fucking had nudity in. It's like
like bit of pressure to get them out. Them, and it's like I will say, like I think Alana Shaw is probably the weakest link in the cast.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
like she doesn't really bring anything to it. I think ADR is like particularly bad. And just, just the whole... She strikes me as, like, Playboy pin-up that's had glasses put on her and made her to be like, oh, you're now a dork. Yeah. Because you've got glasses on. Sort of, like that effect where you're like... but I just don't feel she really brings anything to the film, really, which is sad.
To be honest, I think it probably would have worked better with Tia Carrera.
Yeah, me too. It's interesting that you said that. I didn't know that. I think, absolutely, that would have worked much better.
Yeah.
What about Jeffrey Lewis, though?
I think he's what like elevates the film as far as the acting goes. Like I fucking love the scene where he basically explains to them like the history and what, like how they're brothers and stuff.
Yeah,
and like it's a way to do exposition, but it's just done really well, and you get the impression like he's never actually said it out loud before, and it's upsetting him to say it. I always love that little bit.
Yeah, I think he's really great.
He's always good.
I was going to say I do like him anyway, but I don't know, really, really good.
Yeah.
I think the way they age him, I suppose it would be de-age him, but like when it goes from one scene to the next and he's like bald, it's like he looks more ripped or something as well. It's just. I mean, I guess you don't see him with his top off. I guess you just see him in a suit.
Yeah,
but they just do it so well that you kind of buy that it's 25 years later and
stuff. He does look like the shaved head just makes him look a bit more like grizzled and worn. Yeah. I guess. Yeah.
But yeah, really, really great part. I love him in this. I always forget that he's the dad. The dad, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The dad to Chad.
Yeah, Chad's dad. What do you think of the finale? Like, I always forget that it's set like on a ship. I'm like, it's very Lethal Weapon 2, and plus even drop a shipping container on someone to kill them, just like Lethal Weapon 2.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was an influence at all.
Yeah, it's kind of like Lionheart as well, isn't it? Technically, because that ends on a ship as well.
Yeah.
Sort of.
And kind of funny as well. This, we're saying it's a bit like Lethal Weapon 2, where the next movie we're doing's got Joss Ackland in it.
Ties everywhere.
It all ties together.
It is a little bit clumsy to some degree, I think, the ending. I think it might have just been better to have the ending, like, I don't know, it's like an attack on the island where they are or something.
Yeah, that kind of does feel like, I mean, you know what's coming if you've seen it before, but when you just try and switch your mind off, that does feel like that's the way the finale's going to take place, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think that, I don't think it's like it doesn't feel like a massively long film in some degree, but I think like that stop-start kind of hurts the movie a little bit.
Yeah.
That it's just like, oh, right, now we've got to go here, and it's like, oh, okay, starting again, sort of thing. But I haven't said that. I like the location and stuff. They use it well and stuff.
Some crazy stylized lighting on that boat, though, isn't there?
Yeah, well, that's it. That fight that he does with is it the trying to think the guy's name.
Oh, he's called like Spares, the bad guy.
Yeah. Peter Malotta.
Yeah.
Called. Yeah, that's a cool visual.
It is
like somebody with spurs that kicks somebody
and like zipping in and out of the shadows and stuff. It's very stylish.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, very different. I think that's the cool thing about this film. Like you do feel like they're trying different things.
Yeah, definitely.
The visuals,
and then like the lighting on the rest of the ship, it's all like pink and it's like fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I kept thinking of the entire time.
Yeah, but blue light and pink light and stuff like at the same time and things, and it really highlights all the shadows.
They just fucking got Argento over to like the whole fucking ending or something. And of course, I love this bit just because it's responsible for that Counter-Strike meme.
Yeah.
I forgot. I hadn't watched that for years, and when I was watching the film, I just remembered it, and I watched it like 10 times. It's so fucking funny. If anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, just search Counter-Strike Van Damme. It's the funniest fucking thing you'll ever see.
It's like the most over-the-top no ever.
He put his bollocks into that one, didn't he? Yeah.
He reached deep.
And then, of course, you got the Bolo versus Chad rematch.
Yeah. It's sad that Bolo kind of gets a bit of a punk death. Kicked in electricity panel.
Yeah, but
just maybe he should have been crushed with a container. Yeah. That was the only thing that could kill him.
Yeah.
Flip the deaths, basically. Have the Weasley fucking Brit guy get electrocuted. And have Bolo get crushed with the pallet, the thing container.
It's funny though, because Sheldon Lettich tells a funny story that like the amount of fucking slow motion in the fight. Like Van Damme loves his slow motion, and apparently on set they were just setting up the shot, and he's like, "I want this in slow motion." They're like, "Fucking hell, Van Damme! The whole fight's going to be in slow motion."
The film's going to be like 4 hours long.
Yeah, and like he said when they were editing, Sheldon Lettich was like, "Jean-Claude, it looks like you're fighting underwater, like the whole fight." And like because like it was shot in slow motion, like say like for 120 frames a second, they just had to keep like sending shots that didn't want slow motion back to the lab to have frames removed. So if there's any bits that look kind of weird and like choppy, it's probably because of that, because they were just slow motion shots that they had to speed up because it was entirely in slow motion. Like you said, it looked like they were fighting underwater.
I know there's a very gratuitous shot. I think that's when the island's getting attacked just before the finale, where Van Damme, like, I think it's Alex is doing it. He has a gun and he like kind of points it off to the left.
Yeah.
And his arms all muscly and tense and stuff. And it's just that he fills the frame, basically.
Yeah.
And I just think, I bet you Van Damme loved that shot.
Of course he did.
He fucking loved that shot.
Yeah, of course he did.
It's so like, Sort of Van Damme with his muscle.
Yeah, there's some great bits in that Bolo fight where it's just like him dodging a kick and then going, yeah. It gets a bit erotic, really. But
He doesn't do any kidney punches, I don't think. Does he do kidney punches in this movie?
I think Bolo gets the kidney punch in this movie.
He?
Yeah. And then Van Damme gets his fucking kidney obliterated and nowhere to run. So
True.
I used to love this fight as a kid, though. I always loved the jumping over Bolo, and then he throws the barrel over him, then he backs around him, and Bolo's like, where you gone? And then he taps him on the shoulder and punches him. I always loved that bit.
Yeah. It's just like Van Damme using his speed against him, basically, isn't it? Yeah. Big, muscly guy.
Of course, Bolo gets a chance to flex, the terrified bugger that he is.
He does, yeah. Great shape that he was in.
Yeah. Have you seen his son?
No,
he's just a mini Bolo.
Is he?
Yeah,
nice. In the jeans.
Yeah, he looks exactly like him. Yeah.
I was going to say though, talking to people in shape, I thought like Karina Everson was really good as the Cara character.
She's a former Miss Olympia.
Like those thighs, like very strong and stuff.
I love how much she stands out during the scenes where they're like chasing them through Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And apparently they just shot a lot of that shit on the fly, so like people's reactions are like genuinely like, who the fuck is that?
Yeah, just some giant muscly lady run down the street.
Literally looks like how anime women were drawn in the 80s.
Yeah.
Just like tall, muscular, massive thighs. Yeah.
I think it's like an interesting scene when Cara she like I guess confronts I'm trying to remember the character, Danielle character, when she was like doing the espionage and stuff, and she pins her against the wall, and she's like, "Oh, I need to do your body search and stuff." And I just think it feels rare that you kind of saw that, like sexual violence, like woman on woman. In movies and stuff, it was quite a confrontational, skeevy scene.
It is, yeah.
And it's played off like. It's not played off like, oh, it's sexy or anything like that.
It's
like
played off as like kind of like as it should be, kind of awful.
Yeah, and like she's on the phone to Van Damme, and she's kind of like saying, "I've just been violated." Basically. It just caught my eye as like kind of a cool. I kind of wish they'd done more with her character. I guess it's like maybe it's like. Obviously, I wouldn't want Bolo Young taken out of the movie because he's great in it. But like, if Bolo Young wasn't in the movie, give the character more space to be the villain, the main villain.
For some reason, I thought you were going to say I wouldn't want Bolo Young to pin me up against the wall and body searches. I'm like, I don't fucking blame you, mate.
No, I wouldn't. I definitely would not want that. He's just doing that like grimace face that he does that year stuff. You're like, it's like in Alien 3 when the alien pins Ripley against the wall. Yeah, basically. But it's just Bolo.
You're like, Mr. Young, is this going to happen again? You'll never know.
He just fucking picks you up like one of those barrels.
Chucks you out the room. So here's a question though. At the end, obviously, the two bastards are dispatched. That means they're rightful heirs to this money, this fortune. How are they going to explain how they died and all the murders?
No, the story's a bit loose. Because also like. Doesn't the Danielle character get like paperwork or something that proves it? What happened to the paperwork?
Yeah,
it disappears from the movie. I mean, they both jump into the water when they're making their escape from Cara. So, assumedly, the paperwork was destroyed.
Probably. Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. Like, how do they? Maybe it's they go back and get that cigar case and go, see, that cigar case proves it.
But either way, they're going to prison.
Exactly. They've just murdered loads of people.
So I get this is what you're owed, but you can't just go around being a fucking pair of vigilantes now.
No. It just create this massive power vacuum as well in the Hong Kong criminal underground.
Yeah.
But I like that the film goes fuck that to all that stuff.
Oh, exactly.
And it just ends the movie on a classic Van Damme freeze frame.
Yeah, fucking doing the A-OK, and then it fucking freezes. There's like gunshots, and then there's a rap song called Feel the Impact, and I'm like, oh, I fucking missed the 90s.
I'm gonna rap at you and explain the plot to you now.
But yeah, it's got a good fist pump and feel good end. That's all you want, man.
Well, that's it. That's what I mean. Like you could laugh at it and you could take the piss out of it, but it's not that kind of film. It's an action movie.
Yeah.
And I do miss action movies like this, where they're just like straightforward. They're not trying to like give you a message or change the world, or
just entertain you for 2 hours. That's it.
Yeah, definitely.
But as for highlights, I mean, I've went over most of my highlights really.
Yeah, pretty much.
The one favourite line I didn't mention, which I just thought was brilliant. It couldn't be delivered. It wouldn't be as good without the British accent. It's when Griffith says to Daniel, he's like, "You don't know which side your bread's buttered on, you silly bitch."
Savage.
Yeah. As for sequels and stuff, Van Damme and Lettich did have plans to work on a sequel about 10 years ago, but I think it's off the cards due to like rights issues and stuff. Yeah, sadly, they should have done one then at the next 93. They should have capitalized it. I mean, I know it wasn't a massive hit, but it's still it had legs as a franchise. I think
they were going to do Triple Impact, where there was a third child who was a sister, but she was in the second car.
Just still played by Van Damme.
yeah.
Oh, that would have been amazing. But
in a wig and stuff.
Would have been a bit sexually confusing for me, though.
Totally. Like fucking that Queen video or something.
Exactly. It'd be Roger Taylor and Michael J. Fox all over again. Because I think it's the one of his films that Van Damme's always thought, like, if I was going to do a sequel, it would be that.
It's a thing with Van Damme, isn't it, really? Like, don't know if we've talked about it before, but he's not a sequel man, really, is he?
Not until, like, he did... Universal Soldier. Is it The Return, the one with Goldberg and Michael J. White? Is that the one?
I don't acknowledge those movies.
No, just for the sake of this conversation.
They never happened.
Yeah. But yeah, no, you're right. He's one of those guys that did the first movie and never came back. Like, there's like 3 Bloodsport sequels, Kickboxer sequels, Cyborg sequels, but yeah, he never really did any of that. Yeah.
No. And it's at a time when you had, the Lethal Weapon movies and the Die Hard movies.
Rambo, yeah.
Yeah, it's always come back for more of it, but he didn't do it. Yeah. He's always on to the next project.
I was going to say, that is one thing you can say for Van Damme. He never, like, rested on his laurels or anything. He was just like, right, what's next? What's different? Everything's always a bit different. Like, this is fuck all like Lionheart when you think about it.
Oh, yeah, crazy different,
Champion Cinema.
As for the merch, I mean, the UK Blue from 88 Films is a great release. You've got a commentary from Kim Newman and Sean Hogan, which I thought was weird because I always associate Kim Newman with horror, but he says at the start of the commentary he was reviewing all these movies back in the 90s, so I guess he's a fan of them.
Yeah.
I didn't listen to it all, but I've listened to about 45 minutes of it. It seems like a fun, informative commentary.
Oh, that's cool.
I would love it if Van Damme did commentaries for his old movies. Just to hear his perspective on them, like for the whole movie, and like things you might not get a chance to mention in interviews and stuff.
Yeah.
In fact, you know what we should do? We should start a petition to get Van Damme to start a podcast where every week he just does a commentary.
Yeah, you never know.
That'd be awesome.
Something he could like settle into as he slows down and stuff.
Everyone's doing a podcast now. That's the one I would actually listen to.
Yeah, definitely.
And it would certainly make Black Eagle more watchable if he was talking over it.
Yeah, Christ. It needs something. It needs to help that movie.
It's just him just going, I remember I was sweating on this day. It was so hot. You got a 20-minute interview with Vic Armstrong, which was very good. 30-minute interview with Sheldon Lettich, Anatomy of a Scene feature out with Lettich, a making of, which is in 2 parts, and both together it comes to around 1 hour and 50. And Van Damme's in that as well, being interviewed. 53 minutes of extended and deleted scenes from the work print, which is awesome. Yeah. And a whole bunch of like vintage featurettes, interviews, B-roll, and a trailer. Oh, it's a jam-packed release.
Yeah, I should get around again.
It's very good. Yeah. And in the States, MVD Rewind again. It's the same as the 88 Films release, but it doesn't have the commentary or the Vic Armstrong and Sheldon Lettich interviews. So I would go for the 88 one.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Very good. And there's no posters and stuff.
Sadly, no. A lot of Van Damme films, like, we talked about this earlier, but people would tend to just go straight for the typical double,
Bloodsport and
Kickboxer. Yeah. They were like the main draws whenever there's going to be art to be had. So there isn't really anything for this, sadly.
Yeah, it's a shame because I think there is a lot of visuals in the movie that could make like a great custom poster.
Definitely, yeah.
I just need to start fucking learning how to draw, map myself.
Do your own Van Damme posters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Champion Cinema.
So, Nowhere to Run. Released in 1993. With a runtime of 1 hour and 34 minutes. So snappy movie.
Punchy one.
Straight to it. It's the second collaboration between Jean-Claude Van Damme and producer Craig Baumgarten, whatever he's called, the Universal Soldier guy.
Yeah.
Directed by Robert Harmon, and of course stars Jean-Claude Van Damme as Sam Gillen, Rosanna Arquette as Clyde Anderson, Kieran Culkin, the unmistakable Culkin child, as Mike Mookie Anderson, Ted Levine as Mr. Dunstan, Tiffany Taubman as Brie Anderson, Edward Blatchford as Sheriff Lonnie Cole, Anthony Stark as Billy, and Joss Ackland as Frankie Hale.
And his spunky backpack.
So what's it about?
When Sam Van Damme escapes from a prison bus, he finds himself entangled in the lives of a young widow and her 2 children. He takes it upon himself to help her and the townsfolk defend themselves against Joss Ackland and his shady development firm, who are determined to own the land. So this originally, as a script, was entitled Pals, and it was written years earlier by Joe Esterhaus, who wrote Basic Instinct, and Richard Marquand, who directed Return of the Jedi. And a quote from Rosanna Arquette I found, she said Sam was originally going to be played by Mel Gibson. So,
yeah, I could see that. You know, like...
Oh, yeah.
As a different movie, obviously.
Yeah, as a pure drama, I could see it as a Mel Gibson vehicle.
Yeah.
There's conflicting quotes, though, regarding the finished product of the script. Joe Esterhaus says, the script was taken and destroyed many years later by Jean-Claude Van Damme. It lost its sensitivity. It lost everything. I don't like to remember that movie. Whereas on the flip side, Van Damme says, the script was not that good. The writer told me he was going to fix it. The writer told me he was going to fix everything. I was in his house. He shook my hand. He promised me, but he didn't fix it. So I don't know.
Strange, yeah. I saw that one. I saw that line from Van Damme.
Yeah. Like, I do remember, though, when this was coming out, like, either from movie mags or people who had seen it, that it wasn't going to be a typical Van Damme movie. And it doesn't throw a single kick in the movie. That was a big deal at the time.
It's different. It's definitely a different movie.
Yeah.
I think overall, though, I really enjoyed this movie.
Me too. I honestly don't think I've seen it since probably like 93, 94. So it was almost like watching it for the first time. I could just remember little bits. And I really enjoyed it, yeah.
I think you have a proper sense of you don't really know what's going to happen in the movie.
No.
Either. You know, it's not immediately apparent. You know, is it going to end with a happy ending or is he going to get killed? You know, it's one of them films where like you could believe you get shot at the end.
It has a very bittersweet ending, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably an issue just with the overall writing of the film. Like, they back themselves into a corner a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, how do you kind of have, the, like, I laughed when I was talking to Stacey about it, saying, like, if you're familiar with the Harry Potter movies, like the Hogwarts ending, where they're like, you know, Gryffindor did really bad, but they've ultimately won with 100 points, sort of thing. You can't have the police turn up and be like, well, you know, you escaped from prison and you're like, you know, you did all the shit, but we'll let you off because you got the bad guys.
You killed Buffalo Bill.
And then, like, just go off to, you know, and leave them to have a happy ever after. I just kind of wish, I guess I don't want to jump forward, but fuck it feels right. I kind of wish the movie would have just ended with 1 year later and he's getting off the bus.
Yeah.
And the little kid, like, runs towards him and then the credits roll.
You want the happy ever after ending, is what you're saying.
Yes, I certainly do.
Yeah.
Like, what happens? For fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Does he just go back to the jail?
What if he goes to jail and gets stabbed?
He never gets out because the American jail system's mental like that. He just keeps getting like 4 years added to his sentence.
Yeah, because I was going to say, like, with that ending being kind of like, oh, that's slightly depressing, like, it's slightly sad. And just like the pace, the setting, and like the more scrappy fist fights rather than like over choreographed martial arts. It gives it a 70s vibe, I think. It feels like a movie that could have made in the 70s,
right.
Especially compared to everything else that was coming out in 93, 92.
Yeah.
It's a very quiet, dramatic movie.
I really like the action, like the little bits where he does fight or do something. I think that's really well done. I really enjoyed the scene where he plays the hero and he puts the fire out and stuff.
Yeah.
With the digger truck.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I think it's really good.
I mean, for the first 15 minutes, it almost plays out like a remake of E.T., but it's an escaped convict.
Yeah. And it's some sweet little, like, so almost, ironically, it's like what I was talking about last week, where I wanted to see more Van Damme movies where it was like him and a kid.
Yeah, and there you go. We got it next week.
Yeah, we got it with this one. Because I think like the relationship between him and Kieran Culkin's really sweet and stuff, and it works well.
Yeah, it is.
It's, you know, it's a young son with an absent dad would probably immediately like romanticize about this mysterious guy who's like swooped in to save the family or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it really works well.
But as for, we'll just go over the villains quickly. I mean, Ted Levine is always a good villain. He's got such a good voice for being a threatening scumbag.
Yeah, he is. He's good.
And it's another one of those movies, happened a lot back then, where you do have the big bad guy, but it's like, it's the right-hand man who's the most dangerous one. That's kind of the same here.
Yeah, Ted Levine's like, I always have to pause and think like, what do I know him from? And it's always like, is he like one of the generals in like Fifth Element or something?
The main thing I know him from is Sounds of the Lambs, just because. And of course he's in that fucking Joe Monk.
Yeah, of course. He's the captain, isn't he?
Yeah.
But yeah, I do like him. I think he does like a really good job of being like a memorable, like bent cop, basically. I guess is his character, basically.
Yeah. You get the impression he was like a big shithead, like bent cop who was just full of police corruption and then just left to become a full-time criminal.
Yeah, basically.
I like the little bit with the pick a card and then when he gets outside, the card's in the envelope and stuff. It's pretty good.
Yeah, classic magic trick.
Yeah.
Feigning that you've fucked the trick up.
Yeah. And also as well, we've mentioned him a couple of times over the past couple of months. Gene LaBelle's in this as well, the guy that choked out Seagal.
Oh yeah,
the guy with he's got the white hard hat on and the digger and stuff.
Yeah,
Van Damme knocks out with the chin. I just always wonder if him and Van Damme would just fucking have a laugh about Seagal on the set.
Maybe. But no, Josh Ackland though as well. Like moving on to the bad guys, I think he always plays like a good bad guy.
Oh yeah,
Lethal Weapon 2 obviously is like probably his main bad guy role for me.
It's his finest bad guy role.
Twat. But obviously, I always remember him from Bogus Journey as well.
He's great in that. Yeah. But yeah, he's good in this. He's not as fucking nefarious as he is in Lethal Weapon 2. He's not a complete bastard. You get the impression it's like Ted Levine would just fucking kill him if he could, type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like he is genuinely just a businessman who's. Okay, he's using some pretty shitty means, but he does just want to like make money by developing the land, and maybe it's like it's like fucking Dark Knight or something. Like they've turned to a man that they don't fully understand. Yeah, you know that line in Joker about Joker. You know, and he's like hired Ted Levine, and things are just getting like out of hand a little bit.
Like I love that little look he gives Rosanna Arquette at the end, where they just start setting the house on fire, and he's like, "Oh, sorry."
Yeah,
he's like, I didn't know it was gone this far. I'm sorry.
Shit. The scene where Van Damme turns into fucking Jason Voorhees, basically, or something.
When he grabs the guy through the window.
Yeah, it pulls him through the burning glass. It just feels very Jason Voorhees.
It's right out of part 4, yeah. There's a lot of one-liners that don't quite fit the rest of the movie, though.
Yeah.
There's, like the... Well, I love the bit where he smashes the guy in the face with a big plank of wood and it just explodes on his head.
Oh, yeah, it's brutal.
But then afterwards, he's like, 3 strikes, you're out, or something like that. And I'm like, that was needless, Van Damme. Come on.
Yeah, it is. It's a bit of, action movie sort of stuff. Yeah.
But I did like the callback to Au revoir at the end when he's like, au revoir, fucker.
Yeah. But yeah, I really like the comedy bit where... I think it's a little girl says like, "Oh, he's got a huge penis," or something. And then he's like mortified. Yeah. But then Arquette's like, "It's average." Yeah. And Culkin's like, "How do you know?" And he's like, "Oh, I've seen it already." And he's like, "Already?" Yeah. Quite a good like little exchange.
Yeah, because that is funny when like he's like having a bath in the lake and they just swan up and start talking to him and he's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
I want to get out.
Yeah, and he like does that little creep back into the water.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah. What's that magazine again? I pissed myself at the name of the porn mag he's reading. Is it like Heavy Set or Heavy Chested or something?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. Like he got himself some meat in a porn mag from the shop. Who does that?
Right, I'm off cam. What do you need? I need some fucking steaks in a porn mag.
Yeah, just steaks. I don't know, something very binary and very deterministic about it, like meat and porn.
It's very manly. I'll tell you one thing though, is there anything sexier than watching a woman give a horse a bath?
I know. Yeah, through the little slats of wood. Yeah. Just going, oh yeah.
I just love it that shows like that for her to be doing, for her to be like, wow, she's beautiful. I wish I was that horse.
Getting lathed up. Yeah, because it's another Van Damme movie where there's a bit of boobage.
Yeah, another sex scene.
Yeah.
Very passionate as well, I will say. Especially when you find out Roland Arquette did not enjoy working with Van Damme. And I'm like, should fucking put a professional mask on that day then. Jesus.
Yeah. The roll around, there's a bit of fondling going on and all sorts.
She goes straight for the buttocks. The hand goes straight down his tidy whities.
Well, you would with Van Damme's.
Of course you would.
Tight buns.
Yeah. But yeah, I enjoyed the movie. It was fun to see it again. It's one I would come back and revisit. Like I think with what I said with Lionheart, like I hadn't seen that for a while. That's not a one I would probably go back to a lot now. But this one I would. If I was in the mood for something that was like action, but just a bit more chill and dramatic.
Yeah, definitely. It's like it's an accomplished movie. It has a decent plot, start to finish. It doesn't overstay its welcome. The runtime helps that massively, obviously.
Yeah, like 95 minutes. And the credits are like over in a second as well. Did you notice? Did you watch all the credits? I just had the credits on the background. They were just like a minute and a half long. Very short credits.
Yeah, just there isn't like 86 Korean animators. Basically.
Well, that's true as well. There's no CG credits, I guess. I guess I'm just comparing it to credits now.
Yeah, but yeah, I think the film, like, it looks gorgeous, like the settings and stuff.
There's some amazing shots in it. Like there's a shot at the start where he's burying his friend under the tree. That's like something of a western or something.
Yeah.
And that amazing shot where it zooms into the wall as the shotgun blasts a hole in it, and then you see them rolling around on the ground outside. It looks like so clean. It almost looks like CGI.
Yeah. There's a really nice mountain shot as well when he's on the motorbike escaping. Is it a helicopter chasing him maybe or something, or is it just other people chasing him? But it just pulls out, and I mean, I guess it's probably a stunt rider, obviously.
Yeah.
But he's like going up like a really thin mountain trail on the bike and stuff, and I just think, wow, it looks great.
I liked all that bike sequence. There's some fucking there's one cop who just on horseback that just gets fucking demolished.
Oh yeah.
Like it rides right into a big tree, like a big tree branch, just goes fucking down like a sack of potatoes.
Yes, because there's a bit where I was like, for the horse as well. I was like, "Ooh, I hope that horse was all right." That looked brutal.
The way it starts as well with Van Damme just jumping on the bike in slow motion and going,
why would you get on a bike like that? Well, because you're Van Damme.
Because you're Van Damme and you can. And he was like, I want it in slow motion.
I thought there was a very, very Evil Dead-esque shot towards the end of the movie as well, like a Raimi sort of inspired thing. When Jean-Claude Van Damme grabs, I think, does he grab Ted Levine and he throws him over his head?
Yeah,
and the camera like
tilts.
sticks. Yeah. I thought, oh, fuck me, that feels straight out of Evil Dead. Like,
I think there is a shot like that in Evil Dead 2 where Bruce Campbell goes flying through the air.
Yeah. I thought, wow, was that some sort of weird nod to that movie?
Yeah.
I could believe it. But yeah, I like the ending with Culkin tossing the gun over.
Oh yeah,
to Jean-Claude Van Damme, and then all the cards flying from Ted Levine when he gets shot.
Yeah, that was the sort of thing where I was like, oh, that's cool. But then I thought they should have used that more throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Like he should have done it. He should have maybe asked Van Damme to do the card trick or something like that. Do you know what I mean? To establish it a bit more.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, maybe something that was cut from the movie.
Maybe. Yeah. But yeah, as for the one-liners and stuff, I just noticed I had something in my notes. Like the certain one-liners just don't fit the tone of the movie. So for that reason, he should have just shot Ackland at the end and then said it's just been revoked for no reason.
Yeah, totally.
And everyone's like, "Oh, what?
You've just been revoked."
Like, was he the same character?
And for closing on your life or something, I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
It's a daft ending. But yeah, no. Instead, he gets the cuff slapped on him and gets taken away, and obviously I guess the twatty cop kind of doesn't get resolved. It kind of does, but it kind of doesn't. That
was my favourite bit where for the whole movie he's just been cooked. And then right at the end he just makes out with his girlfriend and his face is like, fuck me. Like I fucking spent the whole movie being bossed around by Joss Ackland and now Van Damme swoops in and makes me miss.
Yeah, I probably would have liked to see him get his comeuppance.
Yeah, he was pretty much a fucking weasel.
Yeah, like maybe he should have got arrested along with the other people or something. I don't know. It's because he's portrayed throughout the whole movie being like thoroughly scummy and stuff. Yeah, but at the end of the day, like Van Damme's in jail and he's free to continue being a dodgy sheriff. Like, does he just continue to harass her? Oh, I don't know. I don't want to think about what happens after the credits roll.
He also looks like a mix of Michael Bay and Matthew Modine.
He does. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he's got that look. Yeah. One scene that I really liked, the early scene, and we'll mention it, but the convenience store.
Oh, yeah.
I like it was good tension, that scene.
It was.
With the guy who's like, he's trying to be this friendly local shop guy, and Van Damme's just having none of it. And he's like, oh, I'm here hunting pink flamingo and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I just think Van Damme would have, it's again a missed opportunity, and I'm sure I've said this previously, but like, he could have done a great Psycho or something, just being the bad guy for a movie.
That's the main reason I love Expendables 2 is my favourite one, because it's got Van Damme in it and he's a great villain in it.
Yeah. He just, when he turns it on and he's like cold, you're just like, fuck.
Yeah.
Something about him.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Oh, wasn't that what we talked about once? Wasn't he offered like Demolition Man for like Simon Phoenix at some point?
Yeah, that feels familiar. Yeah,
because there was always a few names going on for that. I think even like Jackie Chan was offered it as well, but he didn't want to play villains, and
totally different movie. Imagine Demolition Man. Yeah,
Insane.
Yeah.
Also, as well, I wanted to mention the stunt at the start with the bus flipping. I really liked as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that whole sequence really is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah,
good. Yeah.
and like his mate who just gets shot in the neck.
I know, Jesus.
Yeah,
Way to go.
cool.
Yeah,
he comes good though. He busts him out of jail and stuff.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So as for Blu-ray and stuff, once again, 88 Films put it out. There's a short interview on there with Peter McDonald, who was the second unit director on the film, but he's worked with Van Damme a few times, and he directed Rambo 3 as well.
Yeah.
And a trailer, so not as jam-packed as Double Impact, but it's kind of understandable. It's not exactly
it's one of
a
them
super
films.
fan favourite.
Yeah, yeah.
But at least I'm sure it looks great. I'm sure the transfer is great and stuff. So
Yeah, it's a shame. I think it's certainly a more accessible movie. Like you could easily watch Nowhere to Run with a much wider audience.
Oh yeah,
You know?
yeah, definitely.
It's almost like this would have been the better movie to watch while eating with tea the
I was
other
going to
night.
say probably. Yeah. So yeah, that's that. There's obviously no poster out. No one's
No.
doing £100 prints for Nowhere to Run. Sadly,
No video games for Nowhere to Run.
one missed opportunity though was not licensing the song Nowhere to Run from the '70s for the end credits. Like, well, why not? Why not? Stupid.
Yeah, and Daft Buggers.
Instead, it's some like '80s power ballad over the end.
Yeah,
So next week, Hard Target and Sudden Death.
it's going to be a good one. That one.
Lots of people getting shot next week.
I do love Hot Target.
Can't wait to. I've seen it a million times, but I can't wait to watch it again. It's going to be fun. So next week, no, not next week. We've already done that. But I'm starting to get hot. I'm starting to get warm. So you can find us on the social medias on Instagram at Champion Cinema Pod, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, your mum's podcast,
Interweb.com.
all the podcasts,
All
basically.
that stuff.
And Spotify, of course, we're on there. So yeah, until next time, I'll see you down the part.
See you, Nate.
Champion Cinema.